Hey yo zombie slayers out there, it's Parker here from the CK channel, and what this video today is going to consist of is something that has been on the zombie community's minds for a long time now, probably rather in the next month or so. We've been sort of formulating whether or not this is actually going to go down, but one of the main things that we're going to be going over, and what I'm going to sort of be provoking some answers for as well, is if Treyarch is going to be making a new Call of Duty game, and is it going to be including zombies? Now, granted, Treyarch, they most likely will make a new game. Well, they will most likely make a new Call of Duty game, probably sometime the next year or so. But one of the main things is if they're going to include zombies in there. Are they going to have the whole zombies game mode? And is that whole thing gonna take place? That's one of the main things that we're gonna be trying to go into this video, because I know it's been on a lot of people's minds. A lot of people have been freaking out on whether or not they're gonna actually continue it, and that's what we're gonna be going over in today's video. So, you know what? Let's get right into it. Now, these are sort of the three main things that we're sort of going to be looking over in this video. We're going to be going over it and sort of either strengthening or sort of disclosuring the factor whether or not Treyarch is going to be making another Call of Duty game. Most likely they will, but will it include zombies? So something we will be looking at will be the money, will be the viewership, as well as the sincerity, because those are all really, really big factors in what's actually going to be going down. So what I'm actually going to be going into first is the money aspect, the whole business aspect of what makes a company going along with Call of Duty so successful. So this is sort of really what it does come down to. It does come down to the money. And like, if I ask one of you guys, or if this is a major question I want to ask you guys, let's just get it down from that. Do you think Treyarch, or do you think any company that works along with Call of Duty, do you think the only reason why they make a Call of Duty game is for sort of the entertainment aspect? Do you think that they only create a new Call of Duty only for the entertainment purpose, only to entertain you guys? That's why they spend millions and millions of dollars into making this simple video game. Now, if you said yes, you are completely wrong. There is, granted, don't get me wrong, these types of companies that coexist with Call of Duty, they really are out to get the entertainment purpose in for the viewers or for the entertainers that actually want to play the game itself. But then again, the whole purpose why these types of companies sort of go along with Call of Duty is to make money. That's really what it does come down to. If there is money to be made, most likely somebody is taking advantage of that and they are making money. So one of the major things that really helped Treyarch sort of get this boost for a sort of a reputation for Black Ops and Black Ops 2 and stuff like that is sort of the zombies game mode. That's sort of what I'm sort of stretching towards, and this is actually going into the viewership as well. But one of the major things that a lot of people liked about Black Ops 2 is that they had zombies. That's one of the main things that Treyarch has been having ever since World at War, and it's insane. A lot of people grew off of it from there, and that's why it's actually so successful, because a lot of people love the storyline. A lot of people sort of like that urge to get to high rounds. They like to find those Easter eggs. There's a lot of things that are implemented in just such a little game mode that a lot of the community like. Now, this is sort of a thing that a lot of people get mixed up with. It's like, people say, oh yeah, I only bought Black Ops 2 because of zombies. That's the thing. That there's a lot of people that say that, but then again, the truth behind most of that stuff, it's really insignificant. Now, I've this is sort of going, or more or less dwelling off of my personal preference, but I met a lot of those people saying that they only bought Black Ops 2 only for the sole reason of that it had zombies. Now, granted, I remember looking back at a couple people that said that, and they had like 2 days or 3 days played in multiplayer and stuff like that. And you could go along with saying that, you know what, it's not just that. The whole game as a whole, and don't get me wrong, there are people who probably only bought the game for zombies, but it's not really the limited amount of people that actually like multiplayer and zombies at the same time, because that's really what the whole consumption of it does come down to. So I'm sort of going off a little bit off track of what the main thing is, but sort of the whole zombies game mode, it is a profit for Treyarch. That's really something that drags people in. Hey, like, Infinity Ward doesn't have zombies. They don't have this really exciting game mode, but we do. That's why we want to drag you guys in, so that we could sort of, because it really does invoke to everybody. Not everybody, but a certain precision of people. But then again, there are people who really sort of like that, so that whole game mode aspect. So something that a lot of people actually, or a lot of companies actually like to do, is they really do drag you in by one simple thing. Now, more or less, I'm going to use sort of an example, and this is going along with the business aspect, not more or less the viewership aspect. Let's say the zombies game mode is Taken, the movie Taken with Liam Neeson, if you guys don't know what that is. It's basically a movie. It was really, really successful, and it really did not call for a sequel. They ended the whole Taken at a pretty good note. It's like, there is room to make a sequel, but it would be kind of weird, and overall, the whole opinion, or not the whole opinion, but the whole preference of the movie was sort of just a one-liner type deal. But you know what, since that movie was so successful, since there was a lot of money dragging into that whole movie production, that's why they made Taken 2. And Taken 2, that was even more popular than the first Taken, and that's when the money really started to roll in. So you know what, they had this big idea that, you know what, even though money is still dragging in for us, that's one of the things that we can actually go off for. And they're actually, surprisingly enough, making another Taken. They're making Taken 3, which is insane once again. But that's really what it does come down to. I don't want you guys to really invoke your process more or less on what I just used for the example, but more or less what Treyarch is actually probably thinking in mind. They're just like, you know what, the zombies game mode that we have, it is really extremely successful. There are a lot of people that play this game just only for the purpose that it has zombies in it. And I know I'm sort of like representing myself and sort of a novice factor, because I just mentioned that not everybody plays it. But then again, people do give the game a shot. They do. It's not like half of the population of the Call of Duty sort of community only play zombies. There are those people that, you know what, occasionally do it, and that's really what it does come down to, because people like just something regularly than just one simple thing. They like to sort of mix things up a little bit, and that's really what the zombies game mode does. It's sort of like a unique factor that they have in Call of Duty, and that's what really does draw a lot of people to actually get the game itself. Now, more or less, it really does come down to money. I really can't say, or I can't really stress how important that is. That Treyarch really did get this big boost from zombies, and really, what I'm going for is that most likely Treyarch will be including another zombies game mode based off of the success, sorry about that, that they had from both from all World at War, Black Ops, and Black Ops 2, all the zombies game modes for that. Extremely successful. They got popular every single game up from there, and you know what, it really would be a smart decision for them, business-wise, to do something like this, if sort of their intentions were to get more or make more money. Now, I know I was like barely just brushing the surface of this for the viewership aspect of it, but more or less, Treyarch really do care about their community. Like, for more or less all the updates that they had for Black Ops 2, there's been a lot of stuff that they did. They remodeled a bunch of stuff, and they really were community active, and that's something that they really, really do care about. So granted, even though the viewership is there, Treyarch still does care. It's not like they only care about the money, but then again, they do care about the viewers. And that's really another main thing that people try to strive for. And that's, I know, once again, I'm really sort of just moving off into the direction that really doesn't go along with the main topic, which is if Treyarch is making a new zombies game mode, but realistically, the viewership. So, I know I already mentioned this, but there are people that say, oh yeah, I only bought Call of Duty Black Ops 2 just for the zombies game mode. And like, I already used that example in which I looked at their whole player card, and they had like 3 days played on multiplayer as a whole. And then again, there is still a community for zombies. They can't get that wrong. There is those people, and granted, even though it's not half the community, there is a small percentage of the community that actually want this game to be here. And who knows, maybe even by just branching off to that little community, may half of the Call of Duty community for Black Ops 2 think that, you know what, Treyarch really should keep zombies. That's sort of what it does come down to, because they really do listen. Treyarch really does listen to the whole Call of Duty community as a whole. They fix a lot of the updates that they have for it, even though you guys might not notice. They really, really, really do change a lot of things, and that's really something that they really try to strive for, and it really is, once again, the viewers' sort of appeal that they have for that. Now, even though zombies, that really is a whole different new factor, there once again is that community for their sus, making it so successful. So even though Treyarch really is more or less going off of sort of the bridge on whether or not, you know what, whether or not they should actually end the series or not, but, and I know I am going to the business part of it once again, would it really be something really smart for them to do? Because you have to think about it. You're pretty much going to be throwing away this whole big zombies game mode that you had that was really successful. And if you guys don't know, probably Infinity Ward, they would have loved probably to come up with an idea like this. But granted, then again, it was Treyarch's own thing, and they have to either continue it or sort of end it on a good note. Like, I'm going to be using another example once again. Treyarch might do something in which, and I'm going to Serenity now. It's like, I love how I'm sort of switching up. But you know what, let's actually go into Serenity, because this would go along perfectly with it. So let's say this, Treyarch really does have a good reputation as well. They have a good reputation with making pretty good, solid Call of Duty games as a whole, as well as making the sort of, what am I trying to say? As well as making the gamers feel entertained, or making them feel entertained. And that's really what they try to strive for. So once again, let's say Treyarch's Serenity that they're having, it really is almost like a, what's the word, I'm forgetting it off the top of my head right now, but they're keeping their reputation. That's what they want to do. They can either just brush the surface, and that's really what it's gonna come down to. Are they gonna make another Call of Duty game, or are they going to just sort of just throw it in the trash? Are they just going to wipe out the whole idea and just end it on a good note? Because that's sort of the thing. Are they going to do something like, for example, The Sopranos? Like, The Sopranos, all the series and all the seasons that they had for that, every single season was extremely good. And, like, it started really getting popular, like, the second season towards the end. Like, that's really when it started to get popular, and they decided to end the whole series on a note rather than pulling something like the TV series Lost. Now, I know I'm using a lot of analogies, but I'm just sort of going to be breaking it down right now, I guess. The Sopranos, they ended it on a really good note. They could have made a lot more seasons, and they could have made a lot more episodes, and they could have made a lot more money. But then again, they decided to end the TV series on a good note. They decided to crush that whole thing down just to keep their serenity. Now, that's either what Treyarch can do, or they can do something like Lost. Lost, if they ended Lost on, like, Season 3, that would have been fine. But they made, like, 8 seasons, and it just kept on dragging and dragging on. And the final episode for that was just such a downfall. It was one of the things, like, why did they even do this in the first place? Why couldn't they just have ended it? And that's really, once again, what Treyarch is probably thinking at the same reasoning as well. Are they going to sort of drag it on and just make it more and more less important, and just, they're only doing it for the money? Because that's exactly what the TV series Lost did. They just did it to the point where it was just, they were getting barely racking in money for this game. Or will they end it on a good note like what they did for The Sopranos? And I'm not saying Treyarch made The Sopranos, it's just sort of an example that I'm going along with. So, realistically, this is going to be my whole opinion. I know I used a lot of examples for most of this stuff, and this is going to be a really long video right now, I'm not going to lie. But realistically, my thought process on most of this stuff is that, you know what, if the money's there, I think Treyarch is going to be doing it. Granted, I don't think they're really going to be sort of watering the whole game mode as a whole, but I'm probably 70% sure that Treyarch is going to be making a new Call of Duty game, and they're actually going to be including the Zombies game mode for that. Now, I actually explained a lot of stuff in this video. I did explain a lot of key factors, and I'd like to know sort of your guys' whole thought process on this. So do you think Treyarch is going to be making another Call of Duty game with zombies, or do you think they're just going to end it with this final map pack, which is going to be Origins, which is going to be released tomorrow? And that's sort of the thing. Also, for this title, if you guys didn't notice already, it sort of says Stage 1. The reason why I did that is because it's going to sort of be before Origins comes out, which is tomorrow once again. And I sort of wanted to sort of picture whether or not if the storyline changes and they sort of like somehow kill off all the characters and the storyline ends, because that once again is a really main factor as well for a viewership point. It's like if they do end the storyline, that will most likely curve my whole thought process, and they'll probably implement, you know what, Treyarch probably or will not make a new Zombies game mode. That's sort of what it does come down to. So once again, I am going to be sort of making 2 parts for this, but instead of using parts, I'm using stages. So yeah, that's really the end of the video. I'm just going to, once again, sum up sort of my whole resolution, and I think Treyarch is going to be making a new Zombies game, or they are going to be making another Call of Duty game with the Zombies game mode. So I'm 70% sure that they're going to be doing it, just basing it off of all the thoughts that I've had. If you guys have any thoughts, or if you are still watching this, you guys are awesome, because it's a super long video. But if you are still watching it to this point, you guys are awesome, and I'd like to see what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you think Treyarch is going to be making a new Zombies game, or do you not? But other than that, guys, I most likely in a couple of days or a couple of weeks from now, I will be making a sort of part 2 to this video, whether or not my sort of whole idea changed, and it might be even a shorter video than it was, or it might even be a longer video. We don't really know, but most likely the second part of this video is going to be coming soon. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful and fabulous day today, because I certainly am. And you know what, guys? I guess I'll talk to you sometime in the near future, so see ya.